Previous video footage of the Rockaway Park manufactured gas plant site. You can view that at Rockaway Park MGP site overview. After viewing that, then you can view this. That was actual video of the site, and this is actually going to be some documents that basically will spell out to you a little more clearly what's going on the site. This is a part of the October 2002 New York State DEC Record of Decision. This is figure 2. You can get some focus on it. Figure 2 there. And this is the sampling locations, and what this does is show you the various places where they've sampled from contaminants. The sampling locations show up as these very small dots. You'll see one here. This is RPMW 16I, which is located on my property, on my neighbor's property. It showed readings of toluene and xylene. The readings were 13 micrograms per liter and 14 micrograms per liter. That's almost 3 times the state SCGs, which is standard criterion guidance. And those safe levels established by the SCGs are 5 micrograms per liter for groundwater. Alright. The readings say were 13 and 14 for toluene and xylene respectively. Alright. We can see the sporadic amount of monitoring devices placed at the locations of the resident population. They're basically spaced probably about a block apart. Alright, more or less, other than a couple inside here. And this here, this is a replacement for this well. This well was destroyed when my property was erected, and as a result they placed the well out here on Rockaway Beach Boulevard. They placed it even further from the contaminants, so contaminants could travel from the site onto my property, under my home, and wouldn't be picked up until here. So I don't understand the logic in that if you're trying to monitor and you're trying to uphold or maintain public health. This is Rockaway Beach Boulevard. This is Beach 109th Street. National Grid is alleging that there was a gas station positioned in this location on Rockaway Boulevard at Beach 109th. That gas station, from a picture, a Sanborn aerial map, mail you a picture of a station here. They allege that there was a spill. This is DEC alleging this, and the spill traveled in the eastward direction, or a westerly direction to my property, a little over a block or almost a block away. Alright, and you can see the distance from the gas station would be here to here versus the gas station being here, and this monitoring device right here on Beach 109th Street. I'm going to try to zoom a little bit for you and see if I can get you a little bit of view of it. You can see Rockaway Beach Boulevard. I apologize for that. And that is Beach 109th as I try to zoom slowly. Okay, and you can see the monitoring devices there just south of the tracks, those 2 little circles. Alright, now they're alleging that the groundwater flows north, of course. And if again we look at the compass will show north, off in that direction, going upwards in this shot. If in fact the groundwater flow is flowing northward, if, as they allege, there was a gas station located here, this location, located at this location, then if groundwater flow is truly flowing north, it should flow from this location here. It should end up passing through this monitoring well location here, and it should readings should be generated here. This particular monitoring location generated 0 readings, allegedly, per the documents. No readings here. My question is, if there's contamination in the station, has spill, which they're only presuming there was a spill. The toxic targeting and the environmental database shows that there's, and this is per DEC's records, National Grid records, that there's no, and it states that there's no other source that could be possible, or known source that could be possible for the contamination located here on my property, other than the MGP site. Now DEC's Doug McNeil states he's located a photograph. I don't know whether he's working in my best interest or National Grid's best interest. An aerial photograph that shows a gas station here. Of 1936, I believe the picture was the photo, the map was. The photo was taken. And so he's alleging that there was a spill here and it traveled against the flow, the northern flow of groundwater, that it traveled westerly over to my property. And you can see how far my property is from the alleged location of the gas station, as well as the distance, not the distance, but the direction, the westerly direction. And you can see the distance from the alleged gas station here on the corner to these monitoring wells here. And again, this is a direct line in the flow with the groundwater north. So if there's any spill here, it should have showed up here as well. Even if it spread a little westerly and showed up in my property, it definitely, if there's a northern flow of groundwater, should have showed up here. Okay, but we're going to leave that alone for now. It seems to me like DEC is working for National Grid, not the public. But interesting in regards to groundwater plume, we'll look here, you'll see no monitoring devices on the railroad tracks. None at all. None at all. Not one. Not one. Okay, you'll see a multitude on the site. All these little dots and these little circles and different, geometric figures. This is along the southern side of Rockaway Freeway. This is probably RP SB 80 here, either here or here. One of these two, where a heavy amount of heavy amount of contamination was found. This is the other location where they found a large concentration of contaminants here going into Walbaum's parking lot, which Walbaum's has been designated the Bell Harbor site. Its own hazardous waste site. Now, if we have no monitoring devices on these tracks here, how then can DEC now generate this document here showing, and this is figure 6 of the same record of decision, and it's entitled Extent of Groundwater Plume. And again, you can see it's figure 6. How can they say, proof positive, that the groundwater plume ends right here, just in between the two railroad tracks? And you saw from the earlier video I shot of the site how close it is. How can they state that? There's no monitoring devices here. Again, there's some homes located right here. My property, there's a lot of homes located here, but they're not on the map coincidentally on this diagram, on this figure. I wonder why they're not shown, because it would probably show you, in my opinion, the proximity, the closeness of the homes here along the southern side of the tracks and this groundwater plume, which probably is about 20 to 25 feet away from my home right now. Okay, yet DEC is alleging it didn't come from the plume here, which ends here halfway across the tracks almost, and my property is right here probably. They're alleging it came from some gas station down on 109th, which is ludicrous, that they're not even aware of, only from an aerial photo. Now, clearly, in my opinion, since the figure shows that there's contamination here, this well showed up clean, so possibly the groundwater plume may just come laterally here and not come southward, because this well is clean. This well on my property is contaminated, so possibly, in my estimation, groundwater may come across the tracks here, but at some point dip down onto my property, which has contamination, and then probably dips back and then probably goes back up, because this well here was, I believe, was clean. This well here was just marginally contaminated. Okay, so possibly it did extend straight. As a result, this well is clean, and then it came down southward. As a result, this well here on my property is contaminated, and then maybe it recedes back up. But in any case, National Grid has even stated to me that this was what they call a guesstimation of where the plume is. And that was stated by Doug McNeil, that they weren't actually aware, after I pointed out the locations of the monitoring and sampling devices. All right, so I'm going to conclude up with this, and I'm going to go on to another video, which is going to be entitled Part 2. And then in that video, I'll go into a little bit more about groundwater flow, direction, so on and so forth, per National Grid documents. This is the MGP Fighter. I'm signing off. I'll see you in Part 2 in just a moment. Thank you.